I'm Brad Clark, and today we're going to be drinking in the name of science and justice. I'm a criminal defense and DUI attorney practicing in Lexington, Kentucky. Every day, people come to my office and tell me about the trouble they got in over the weekend. One thing I keep seeing over and over again is people that said, I just had a couple, and it turns out they were heavy craft beers. So today we're running an experiment. We got a couple of those beers. Well, maybe more than a couple. And we went down to the Clark Law offices located in Lexington, Kentucky. Now most of the beers were local, and every beer was over 7% alcohol by volume. We got those beers at the store. I took them back to my conference room at my law office in downtown Lexington. And I got my friends together, including this guy, Abe Mashney, attorney at Baldani, Rowland & Richardson. Got Carol Allen, who also works for my firm. I didn't make her do this. Zach Losey, City, used to be a brewer. And you had me, Brad Clark, DUI attorney. The major question that we wanted the answer to was, how many craft beers can I drink and still be under the legal limit to drive? In the state of Kentucky, the legal limit for driving is 0.08% breath alcohol concentration. Now, I'm not going to get into the science of what that means today, but needless to say, if you blow higher than 0.08 in the machine at the jail, then you're sticking around for a while because you're under arrest for DUI. So here was the experiment. We all got together in my conference room. We got those craft beers that I'd bought, and we all agreed that we'd try to drink at least 2 of them in 1 hour. So we got together and we hung out and we did those things that millennials do. We talked to each other while looking at our phones, and we put streaming TV on in the background and ignored it. Okay, so maybe we kind of watched part of the Olympic ski jump. But after we finished the beers, the next step was a little more interesting. We were going to follow the manufacturer's instructions on the breathalyzer I bought, the BACtrack Mobile. Supposedly the most advanced breathalyzer on the market. Let's see what the results were. Alright, so we're here with Zach. Zach, what's your last name again?
Losey.
Losey, Zach, where are you from, man?
I am from Lexington, Kentucky. I grew up in northern Kentucky, but have lived in the central Kentucky area since 2010.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with beer?
So I actually was a brewer at a local brewery for about 2.5 years. Been since 2016 I got out of the brewing business, but have an affinity for craft beer and all things to do with it.
Okay, right on, man. So I want to ask you drank 2 beers today.
Yes.
Which 2 beers did you drink?
So I had the West 6 Transylvania Triple and Country Boy Cliff Jumper Pale Ale, India Pale Ale.
Do you have any opinions about these 2 beers?
I do.
Tasting notes?
I do. They're both fantastic beers. I'm a big fan of both breweries and maybe a little biased towards one. But the Transylvania Triple, I don't know much about Belgian style beers, but I know that I like it. Deceptively strong at 9% alcohol, I think, and a very easy drinking beer for having such a high gravity. And then the Cliff Jumper to me is a perfect IPA. It's got strong citrus notes to it, very drinkable. I think it comes in around 7%, so I'm a big fan.
Alright, so you had those 2 beers.
Yes, sir.
And so at this point, where do you think you are? How intoxicated do you think you are drinking those 2 beers in about an hour?
In about an hour? Oh, yeah.
Over an hour now.
So, if you asking me like what I would blow, or what, like how I feel, or what?
Well, how do you feel? Let's start with that.
Mildly lightheaded. I would not drive at this point, which is surprising to me. I also didn't eat much today, but either way, a little bit lightheaded, kind of like feeling myself, I think, is the term the kids use. Yeah, if I had to, you know, put myself on the sliding scale, buzz would be where I put myself. But definitely wouldn't drive at this point, and I'm guessing I'm going to blow above a .08.
All right, well, let's find out. So what we've got here is we've got the Backtrack Bluetooth breathalyzer. I'm going to go ahead and start it on the iPad,
Okay.
and I will let you know
Give me instructions.
when it's time. So we're going to go ahead and hit this here. You're going to guess, what are you going to guess you're at? About a 9, a 10?
No, I'm a .084.
Okay,
That's my official guess.
All right, so at this point I'm going to ask you to breathe in deep. Now blow as hard as you can until I tell you to stop. It's processing.
Okay. So we're out of breath there. Asthma might have been getting to me.
Oh, it's taking its time. Abe, let us know when we have our number. Wow. Would you like to see the
I
result?
would like to see.
Looks like you were actually
Wow.
at a .124.
Jeez.
So, for those at home, what that means is his balance and speech are seriously impaired.
Yeah.
Would you say that's fair? It looks like it's going to take you about...
Wow. 2 o'clock in the morning before I'm sober.
I don't think this is completely sober, yes. It looks like...
Oh, that's okay. That's still at 0, I
completely
guess.
sober.
Still, that's...
Yeah. So, are you surprised at all by that?
A little bit.
History with craft beer? And...
You know, I mean, I've looked this stuff up. I also have a background in science, and, you know, I think it's interesting. I'm fascinated by the experiment. I would have guessed lower. I mean, I did guess lower.
All right. So, we took a minute to try to figure out what happened. And we wouldn't use the Widmark formula like we talked about before. Now, this is a formula that helps you estimate what your breath alcohol concentration should be. And we found Zach should be about .086. So, what gives? Well, all breathalyzers require a waiting period of at least 15 minutes after eating or drinking before testing. And Zach hadn't waited the whole time. Now, that's because breathalyzers have to get a sample from your deep lung air. It can't be mouth alcohol. That could throw off the test. And so that's what the overly high test here was probably caused by. So we waited the full 15 minutes, and we ran another one. Think you're good? No. Well, this says you're at .08. So you're over the limit. Zach completed 2 more tests, both of which read out at .087. This was very close to the estimate from the Widmark equation of .086. Don't drive after drinking 2 beers, Zach. Here with Abe Mashney. Abe, what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney at Baldani, Rowland & Richardson.
Is that here in Lexington?
It is.
All right. So we're here today because you drank a couple beers.
I did. I drank 2 of the Moody Tongues. It is a caramelized chocolate churro Baltic porter, and I drank half of the West 6 cocoa porter.
Okay. Did you have any thoughts about those beers? Did you like them?
Really liked the Moody Twin. It was a good, easy drinking. Obviously, it was very heavy, but it was very good. It's something I've never had before. And the West 6 cocoa porter, it's got a good chocolate flavor, and I think I'd recommend it for maybe an after dinner drink.
Right on. So before we use this, I'm going to ask you, what do you think your breath alcohol level's at right now?
0.1.
0.1. And so you would say it would not be a good idea for you to drive at this point?
I have no plans to drive right now.
All right. So here's the device. I'll tell you when to blow into it. We're warming up right now. So I think you're about ready to take a deep breath right now. And when you're ready, Zach's going to tell you go. Blow. I think you're good. All right, we got a number. Looks like you're only at about a .067. So, according to this device, at the very least, you're good to drive, brother.
Well, probably still won't.
Now blow.
All right.
That's scary.
0.06. Well, I mean, honestly, they were pretty close, really. Like,
Yeah.
what was the first one? 06 something? 057?
something.
057, 06 something, 06. So yeah, you're right, somewhere between those
I
five.
usually remember likely impaired. Your inhibitions may be lower.
Do you feel like your inhibitions are lower?
I 100%.
What about you? So Abe had about 2.5 pretty heavy beers, but he was a little bit bigger than Zach. On average, he would have blown a .613 if he was pulled over, which could lead to reckless driving charges, or maybe even DUI with the wrong cop. Don't drive, Abe! So I'm here with Carolyn Allen. Carol, what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm an associate attorney at Clark Law, so I work for you.
Oh, yeah. Did I make you do this?
You did not know.
Good.
I volunteered.
All right. So, what did you drink today?
So I had the Braxton Graders Black Raspberry Chocolate Chip Milk Stout.
What did you think of it? Let's start with the first one. What did you think of that beer?
I liked it. It was a little too foamy at the beginning, but it was pretty good. It was really chocolatey.
And the second beer you had?
The second was the West 6 Belgian style triple ale, and it was good. It was almost too sweet to drink a lot of it, but it was good. I just wish I would have had it in a smaller amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to test at here? Do you feel like it would be safe for you to drive?
Ew.
What, do you want to guess at what number you might be at?
Yeah, way over 0.01. Wait, no. 0.10 or over.
Okay, we'll go with 0.10. Blow. Oh. Carol, according to this,
What?
you're at a 0.084. You shouldn't drive.
I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned.
Do you want to try it again?
No, I mean, I feel like I'm way over the limit. Like, I feel like I should not be driving right now.
Let's try one more time.
Okay.
It's like about the same, 0.086. So, yeah, what this says is that basically, you know, you'll be sober by 11:38, and that you'll be under the limit, you know, about an hour or so.
Okay.
Carolyn had 2 heavy 12-ounce beers, and it showed in her breath alcohol test. She blew well over the limit, somewhere between 0.084 and 0.086. As a result, our recommendation is absolutely do not drive, Carolyn.
Brad, what beers did you drink?
Beer drink Brad. No,
Okay.
Brad had a Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA, a Snake Eyes Imperial Stout from West 6, and a Cocoa Porter from West 6 also.
How much of those did you drink?
I had a full one of this, and then one of these, and half of that one.
Okay, and how did you feel about those beers?
Honestly, I felt like this one's really good value. Very easy drinking beer. You know, it's made by a national brewery. I always really respect our people at West 6. Shout out to Hendrick, shout out to Matt Floyd, or Matt Fay. Hendrick Floyd, Matt Fay, you know who you are. I had 3 beers. In any event, I thought these were all great beers. This one was a dark and delicious stout, and this one just had great flavor of cocoa. So.
Okay, do you think you are safe to drive right now?
No, I shouldn't drive. I shouldn't even make videos.
Okay, what do you think you would blow right now?
I think I'm gonna be right at 09.
Okay, you think you'll be at 09?
Yeah, just because everybody else blew lower than they thought, so.
That's true. Okay.
Feel good about that. That was a good sample. Okay. It's gonna be an accurate one.
So you said 0.09?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Are we on target? Okay, so it said 0.075.
Wow.
So you are not over the legal limit to drive.
Definitely shouldn't drive, but it says I could almost. Wow, I mean, this is really having me reevaluate our laws, honestly. So I had 2.5 pretty heavy beers in about an hour, and overall I was right up at the limit. So Brad, don't drive! So what did we learn? Well, we learned that you really shouldn't drive if you've had 2 craft beers. Now, some craft beers are lower alcohol. I mean, especially now, they're making more and more session IPAs and lagers, and even some sour beers are lower alcohol. But if you're going to drink the traditional heavier stuff, your IPAs, your imperial stouts, 2 is really kind of over the limit for most people, no matter how small you are or how big you are. So I wouldn't risk it. We also learned that .08 actually felt a lot drunker than we thought it would. Everyone was surprised to say, wow, this is the limit. It wasn't really the number of beers we drank, but just how we felt. And some of that comes down to the fact that we were looking for it. We were trying to feel the intoxication. One other interesting thing we didn't cover as much in the video is how long it takes for you to come down under the limit once you're over 08. It can take an hour to process each drink, or each 0.02 of your breath alcohol concentration. And so if you're really high, it can take a long time. So to sum up, really, don't drive if you've had more than one. And really, in the day's age of Uber and Lyft, don't drive if you've been drinking at all. I'll tell you that an Uber or a Lyft, or 10 or 15 of them, is a lot cheaper than our retainer. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And once again, don't drink and drive. But if you do,